Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day. Lately, an exotic perfume scent wafted through our home, curling around me like a ghostly tendril. It was a fragrance so distinct and intoxicating that I couldn't shake the feeling it was unfamiliar, yet enticing. I approached my wife, Sarah, as she flipped through the latest issue of her favorite fashion magazine, a smile plastered on her face. "You smell amazing," I said, half complimentary, half suspicious. "Oh, this," she replied, waving her hand dismissively. "I just bought it. It's a new one on the shelf." She pointed toward our cluttered vanity, but my eyes scanned the array of bottles. None matched the fragrance clinging to her like a second skin. I shrugged off the nagging doubt, convincing myself I was simply being paranoid. A few nights later, I prepared for the company's annual corporate party, a grand event that always promised a blend of glitz and networking. I decided to borrow some of Sarah's perfume, hoping to leave a good impression among my colleagues. But as I rifled through the assortment of bottles, frustration boiled within me. Nothing emitted that captivating scent. "Sarah!" I called out, irritation lacing my voice. "Where's your new perfume?" "In the cabinet," she shouted back, her voice barely audible over the sound of water running in the kitchen. I opened the cabinet doors, searching for the elusive fragrance, but it was nowhere to be found. Defeated, I chose a safer option from my own collection and headed out. The party buzzed with laughter and chatter, the air thick with expensive cologne and clinking glasses. I engaged with co-workers, exchanging pleasantries and discussing the latest projects. But every now and then, the same exotic scent that haunted my home would drift into my nostrils, teasing and taunting me. Then it happened. Mid-conversation, I turned, and there stood Jason, one of my co-workers, laughing with a group of others. My heart sank. Jason, the suave, charming perfumer known for his eclectic creations, wore the same scent that clung to my wife. I felt the room spin slightly as shock coursed through me. "Is that?" I hesitated, my voice barely a whisper. "Is that her perfume?" "Actually," he said, adjusting his cufflinks with a grin, "it's my latest creation. I call it Euphoria. Limited edition, only one copy in existence." The ground felt like it was shifting beneath me. I could barely breathe as pieces fell into place. Sarah had been wearing his perfume, my wife's betrayal hung in the air, palpable and suffocating. Rage bubbled within me as I forced myself to remain composed, engaging in polite conversation while my mind raced. I remembered her laughter, the late nights she spent working late, and the little lies she told. All those moments replayed in my head like a broken record. I had been a fool, blind to the signs. Later that evening, I found myself in a quiet corner, staring into my drink, letting the anger simmer. I needed proof, something that would expose her deceit. I pulled out my phone and searched for Jason's social media, only to find pictures of him and Sarah together, their smiles radiant and intimate. The realization was crushing. The betrayal clawed at me, igniting a firestorm of vengeance. I would ruin her life, she would feel the pain she had inflicted upon me. That night, I returned home, my heart racing. Sarah lay on the couch, flipping through channels as if nothing was wrong. I stood before her, my heart pounding with rage. "How could you?" I spat, the words tearing from my throat like venom. "With him? You were wearing his perfume, weren't you?" Her eyes widened in shock, and for a moment, I saw fear flicker across her face. "What are you talking about?" she stammered, her facade crumbling. "You know exactly what I mean," I continued, pacing the room. "You've been cheating on me, and I know it's with him. You've been lying to me all along." "Listen, I can explain." "No. You've ruined everything. I trusted you." I yelled, the pain manifesting into anger. "This is over, Sarah. I'm done. The confrontation spiraled into chaos, a flurry of accusations and denials. I felt the walls closing in, and the moment the finality of my words hung in the air, I knew this was it. This was the moment I would set my plan into motion. "Pack your things," I ordered, my voice steady despite the storm inside. "You have until morning." With that, I left her standing there, the weight of betrayal heavy in the air, and my heart raced with both pain and a sense of freedom. I was going to ruin her life just as she had ruined mine, and nothing would stop me. The scent of deceit lingered in my mind, a haunting reminder of what I had lost, but also of the retribution that awaited. This was only the beginning. Morning light streams through the window, but it does little to brighten the heavy atmosphere in the house. I sit at the kitchen table, staring into my coffee cup, the bitter taste a stark reminder of the bitterness in my heart. Sarah hasn't left yet, and the thought gnaws at me. I can't bear the idea of facing her, yet I know I must. As I take a sip, the sound of rustling in the living room pulls me from my thoughts. I glance up to see Sarah, her eyes puffy and red from a restless night. She clutches a cardboard box, slowly filling it with our shared memories, photos, trinkets, and mementos of happier times. Each item feels like a dagger to my chest, a reminder of what once was and what she has destroyed. "Do you really have to do this?" she asks, her voice trembling. "Can't we just talk about it?" "Talk?" I scoff, rising from my chair. "What's there to talk about, Sarah? You've already made your choice." "I made a mistake," she pleads, her eyes welling with tears. "It didn't mean anything. I thought it was just a fling." "Just a fling?" I echo, incredulous. "You've been with him for months. That's not a fling, that's a full-blown affair. You shattered our marriage over nothing." She bites her lip, frustration flickering across her face. "I didn't think you'd find out. I thought I could keep it separate." "Of course, you did," I say coldly. "That's how liars think. You just wanted your cake and to eat it too." With that, I turn away, my stomach churning. I can't stand the sight of her anymore. I grab my keys and head for the door. "I'll be at the office," I say over my shoulder. "Don't bother waiting for me." The drive to work feels like a blur, my mind racing with thoughts of revenge. Jason. I need to confront him, expose him for the deceitful snake he is. He thinks he can just waltz into my life and take what's mine without any consequences. But he's wrong. When I arrive at the office, I try to shake off the weight of the morning. I step into the break room, hoping a quick chat with my coworker, Lisa, will help me regain my composure. But the moment I see her, I can't help but vent. "Hey, have you seen Jason around?" I ask, my voice tight. She raises an eyebrow, sensing my agitation. "Yeah, he's in the lab." "Why?" "I need to talk to him." My words come out sharper than intended. Lisa purses her lips, concern etched on her face. "Is everything okay? You seem off." "Just personal stuff," I mutter, trying to dismiss her. I take a deep breath and head toward the lab. The door swings open, and there he stands, confident, relaxed, a smug smile plastered on his face. He looks up, and for a brief moment, our eyes lock. "Hey, man. What's up?" he says, his tone casual, as if he doesn't have a care in the world. "Cut the crap, Jason," I growl, stepping closer. "We need to talk." His smile falters slightly, and I relish the moment of uncertainty. "Talk about what?" "About Sarah," I say, keeping my voice low but firm. "I know what you've been doing behind my back." He raises an eyebrow, feigning innocence. "What are you talking about?" "Sarah and I are just friends." "Friends?" I echo, the heat rising in my chest. "Don't insult my intelligence. I saw the photos. I smelled her on you at the party. You think I wouldn't notice? A flicker of surprise crosses his face, but he quickly recovers. Look, I don't know what you think you saw, but nothing. I interrupt, my voice rising. You've been sleeping with my wife, and you have the nerve to act like this is just a game. Jason steps back, his demeanor shifting from confidence to defensiveness. You don't know the whole story, he says, trying to regain control. Sarah and I. Save it. I cut him off, fists clenched at my sides. I'm done with your lies. You need to stay away from her. Or what? He challenges, crossing his arms over his chest. You think you can intimidate me? You're just angry because she chose me. The words hit me like a slap in the face. The sheer arrogance of this man fuels my rage. You have no idea what you're dealing with, I warn, stepping closer until we're face to face. I will ruin you, just like you've ruined my life. His laughter echoes in the small lab, mocking and cold. You think you can scare me? I'm not afraid of you. But as I look into his eyes, I see the flicker of uncertainty. You should be, I say, the words dripping with venom. I'm going to expose you for what you really are. Good luck with that, he sneers, turning back to his workstation. As I walk out of the lab, adrenaline surges through me. I can't let this slide. I need to plan my next move carefully. I need evidence, something that will unravel Jason and Sarah's deceit in front of everyone. Back at my desk, I pull out my phone and start researching ways to gather proof, text messages, emails, anything I can find. My heart races with each passing moment, the thought of revenge fueling my determination. I won't let them get away with this. The day drags on, each tick of the clock amplifying my frustration. As colleagues come and go, I overhear snippets of conversations, laughter, and camaraderie, things I once enjoyed, now tainted by betrayal. I feel like a ghost in my own life. When the clock finally strikes 5, I gather my things and head home, my mind racing with ideas. I won't confront Sarah just yet. I need to give her the illusion of normalcy while I set my plan in motion. As I step through the door, the silence is deafening. I can hear Sarah moving around, probably trying to keep busy. I suppress the urge to confront her. Not tonight. Tonight, I'll bide my time. The scent of her perfume still lingers in the air, a constant reminder of her betrayal. I'll make her regret every moment she spent with Jason. My heart hardens with resolve. This isn't just about revenge, it's about reclaiming my life. I won't let them win. Not now, not ever. The following morning, I wake up with a sense of urgency pulsing through me. Today is the day I'll set my plan into action. I can't just sit idly by while Sarah continues to live her life without consequence. I've spent the last few days gathering evidence, text messages, social media posts, even a few sneaky photos of Sarah and Jason together. Now, it's time to use it. After a quick shower, I grab a cup of coffee and sit at the kitchen table, staring at my phone. Sarah enters the room, her hair tousled and eyes still heavy with sleep. She glances at me, a flicker of anxiety crossing her face. I can feel her internal struggle. Should she act normal, or does she want to address the elephant in the room? Good morning, she says hesitantly, pouring herself a cup of coffee. Morning, I reply, my tone flat. I refuse to give her the satisfaction of knowing how much I'm hurting. She takes a seat across from me, and for a moment, the silence hangs thick. So, do you want to talk? She ventures, her voice shaky. About what? I ask, feigning ignorance. About last night, she presses, her eyes searching mine for any sign of weakness. Nothing to talk about, I say curtly, pushing my chair back. You've made your choices. I'm just trying to figure out how to move forward. Move forward, she exclaims, frustration bubbling over. you're not even giving me a chance to explain. I meet her gaze, my resolve hardening. Explain what? Why you decided to betray me with Jason? Why you thought I wouldn't find out? Her face crumples, and for a moment, I see a flicker of the woman I once loved. But it quickly fades as I remind myself of the deception. I need to get to work, I say, cutting her off. We'll talk later. As I step outside, I can feel the weight of the world on my shoulders. I need to be meticulous. I can't just confront them, I have to expose them. The more public the humiliation, the better. My plan takes shape in my mind. At the office, I immediately head to my desk and pull out my laptop. I start drafting an email that will bring everything crashing down. I've compiled the evidence I need: photos of Sarah and Jason at various locations, screenshots of their messages, and their interactions on social media. "Hey, you okay?" Lisa asks, leaning against the cubicle wall, her eyes filled with concern. "Just dealing with some personal stuff," I reply, forcing a smile. "You know how it is." "Right," she says, unconvinced but not pressing further. "If you need to talk, I'm here." "Thanks, I appreciate it." I watch her walk away, the warmth of her concern a stark contrast to the icy grip of betrayal I feel inside. As the day drags on, I work on my email in secret. I draft a message to our boss, highlighting the affair between Sarah and Jason. I include the evidence, ensuring it's as damning as possible. I want them both to understand the gravity of their actions. Finally, as the clock approaches 5, I take a deep breath and hit send. My heart races as I lean back in my chair, knowing I've crossed a line. But this is necessary. They need to be held accountable for what they've done. With the email sent, I head home, a mix of anxiety and anticipation swirling in my gut. As I enter the house, Sarah looks up from the couch, her expression shifting from relief to wariness. "What's going on?" she asks, the tension palpable. "Nothing," I reply, a smirk tugging at my lips. "Just had a productive day at work." "Did you get any good news?" she probes, her voice tight. "Just some personal matters that will come to light soon," I say cryptically. She narrows her eyes, but I can see the fear creeping in. "What are you talking about?" "I think you'll find out soon enough," I reply, my tone cold. I can't help but feel a surge of satisfaction as I watch her fidget, uncertainty flooding her features. I know she's worried about the fallout from my email, and the thought of her anxiety brings me a sense of empowerment. "Where are you going?" she asks as I grab my jacket and head for the door. "I need some air," I say. "I'll be back later." As I step outside, my phone buzzes with a notification. I glance at the screen, and my heart skips a beat, an email from my boss. I can't help but feel a rush of adrenaline as I open it. "Let's meet in my office first thing tomorrow morning. We need to discuss this matter further." My mind races with the implications. This is it, the moment I've been waiting for. I can feel the pieces falling into place. They will both face the consequences of their actions, and I will make sure it's as public as possible. That night, I lay in bed, my mind racing with thoughts of the upcoming confrontation. I replay every moment in my head, the laughter, the betrayal, the pain. The fire of retribution fuels my resolve, and as I drift off to sleep, I know I'm one step closer to taking back control of my life. The next morning, I wake early, the excitement bubbling in my chest. I dress in a sharp suit, wanting to look my best for the showdown. As I make my way to the office, I can't help but imagine the look on Sarah's face when the truth comes to light. When I arrive, the atmosphere is tense, and I can sense the undercurrents of gossip already swirling. I walk to my boss's office, my heart pounding in anticipation. I knock on the door, and he gestures for me to enter. "Good morning," he says, his expression serious. I received your email and wanted to discuss it with you. Thank you for meeting with me, I say, trying to maintain my composure. He leans back in his chair, fingers steepled in front of him. I take these allegations seriously. Can you provide more context? I nod, launching into the details of Sarah and Jason's affair, highlighting the evidence I gathered. As I speak, I can see my boss's expression shift from skepticism to concern. This is a serious matter, he says, leaning forward. I'll need to investigate further. But I appreciate you bringing this to my attention. Thank you, I reply, a sense of relief washing over me. I know I'm doing the right thing. I'm reclaiming my power, piece by piece. As the meeting concludes, I step out into the hallway, adrenaline still coursing through my veins. I glance around, spotting Sarah in the distance, her face pale and drawn. She's clearly been informed about the situation. The realization hits me, she knows I'm behind this. Our eyes lock, and for a moment, time stands still. I see the flicker of fear in her gaze, a reflection of my own pain. But I push the emotion aside, steeling myself for what's to come. As I walk toward her, I can feel the tension in the air crackling like electricity. This is it, the moment of truth. The confrontation I've been waiting for. Sarah, I call out, my voice steady. We need to talk. She swallows hard, her expression shifting from fear to defiance. What do you want, Ethan? I step closer, ready to lay everything bare. You know what this is about. You thought you could keep your secret hidden forever, didn't you? Her eyes narrow. You think sending that email will ruin me? You're wrong. You don't know how deep this goes. I shake my head, anger boiling inside me. You've already ruined everything, Sarah. You think I'm just going to let you walk away from this? Not a chance. As I speak, I can see the resolve in her falter. She knows the walls are closing in, and for the first time, I feel a sense of control. We'll see about that, she says defiantly, turning on her heel and storming away. But I'm not done yet. You can run, but you can't hide from the truth. I shout after her. And in that moment, I realize, this is just the beginning. I won't stop until I've made sure Sarah and Jason understand the full weight of their betrayal. I will expose their lies and ruin their lives, just as they did to me. The game is on, and I intend to win. The atmosphere in the office feels electric, charged with tension as whispers ripple through the air. I can feel the eyes of my colleagues on me, their glances filled with curiosity and concern. I stand in the hallway, my heart pounding with anticipation for what's about to unfold. The meeting with my boss yesterday ignited a fire in me, a determination that can't be extinguished. I refuse to be the victim any longer. Today, I will take my revenge, and I won't hold back. As the clock ticks closer to noon, I spot Sarah in the break room, her demeanor frazzled. She's nervously pouring herself a cup of coffee, glancing around as if she's being watched. I can't help but smirk at her discomfort. She knows her world is crumbling, and it brings me a sense of satisfaction. I approach her, my steps slow and deliberate. Sarah, I say, my voice low but firm. We need to talk. Now. Her eyes widen, and she sets the coffee cup down as if it suddenly weighs a ton. I don't have time for this, Ethan. I have a meeting in a few minutes. Make time, I reply, my tone brooking no argument. This is important. She hesitates but finally nods, leading me to a more secluded area of the office, away from prying eyes. As we step into the small conference room, the tension thickens. The door clicks shut behind us, sealing us in a bubble of confrontation. What do you want? She demands, her voice laced with defiance. I want you to understand the gravity of your actions, I say, my gaze unwavering. You've betrayed me in the worst possible way, and I'm not going to let you walk away unscathed. Ethan, Please, she starts, desperation creeping into her voice. You're making a huge mistake. I never meant for any of this to happen. Spare me the excuses, I interject, my frustration boiling over. You made your choices, and now you'll face the consequences. You've hurt me, and I won't let that slide. The door swings open suddenly, and Jason steps in, a confident smile plastered on his face. What's going on here? He asks, looking between us with feigned innocence. Perfect timing, Jason, I say, turning my focus to him. We were just discussing your little affair with my wife. He raises an eyebrow, clearly amused. Oh, is that what this is about? You really think anyone cares about your feelings? I step closer, fists clenching at my sides. Care? This is about more than feelings, you arrogant bastard. You think you can just come into my life and take what's mine without any repercussions? Jason scoffs, crossing his arms over his chest. You're making a fool of yourself, Ethan. Sarah chose me. Accept it. The anger surges within me, threatening to spill over. You're right about one thing, I won't accept it. I reach into my pocket, pulling out my phone. You both think this is just a game, but I've got evidence. Evidence that will ruin your lives. Evidence? Sarah laughs bitterly. What are you going to do, show a few texts? That won't change anything. Actually, I say, smirking, I'm going to do something much better. I've sent everything to our boss, including the photos and messages. Her expression shifts from contempt to shock. You wouldn't dare. Oh, but I would, I reply, my voice cold and unyielding. You wanted to play with fire. Well, I'm going to burn everything you've built to the ground. Jason's demeanor falters slightly, and I can see the panic flicker in his eyes. You can't do that, he protests, his bravado slipping. You'll ruin yourself too. Not if it means taking you down with me, I say, relishing the moment. You're both going to pay for what you've done. Just then, the sound of footsteps echoes down the hallway. My boss appears at the doorway, a serious expression on his face. What's going on in here? I turn to him, a sense of satisfaction coursing through me. Just enlightening Sarah and Jason about their affair. I hope you're ready to take action. My boss glances between us, confusion mingling with concern. I need to speak with both of you. This is serious. Before he can say another word, I pull out my phone and open the email I sent, ready to show him the evidence. Here's the proof, I say, showing him the incriminating photos and messages. He scans the screen, his expression darkening. This is unacceptable, he says, his voice stern. I'll need to launch an investigation. As he turns to leave, I feel a surge of triumph. I hope you're prepared to face the consequences, I call after him. Because I'm not going to let this go. Once the door closes, I focus on Sarah and Jason, a fire igniting in my chest. You think you can just walk away from this unscathed? I ask, my voice low and dangerous. I'll fight back, Ethan, Sarah spits, her eyes flashing with anger. You'll regret this. Regret? I laugh, the sound dark and humorless. No, you're the one who will regret crossing me. The tension in the room reaches a boiling point as Jason steps closer, trying to intimidate me. You really think you can take us down? You're delusional. But I'm not backing down. You underestimate me, Jason. You both do. I'll make sure everyone knows what you've done. You'll lose everything. Do your worst, Jason sneers. We'll see who comes out on top. With that, I step back, my heart pounding with adrenaline. I know I've set the wheels in motion, and there's no turning back. I'll make sure this doesn't end quietly. I'll ensure their betrayal echoes throughout the office and beyond. As I walk away, I can hear their heated argument behind me, but I don't care. I'm done with them. I'm done with the pain and the lies. It's time for retribution, and I won't stop until they understand the full weight of their betrayal. Later that evening, I return home, my resolve as strong as ever. I walk through the front door, ready to confront Sarah one last time. The house feels foreign, filled with memories of a life I no longer recognize. "Ethan," she calls out, her voice frantic. "Where have you been?" I step into the living room, my expression cold. "I'm here to end this once and for all." "What do you mean?" she asks, confusion evident in her eyes. I hold up my phone, displaying the message I received from my boss. "You're done here, Sarah. I've made sure your betrayal won't go unpunished." Her face pales as realization dawns on her. "You wouldn't." "Oh, but I would," I say, feeling a dark satisfaction. "You've destroyed our marriage, and now you'll face the consequences." "Ethan, please," she pleads, her voice breaking. "You can't do this to me. I made a mistake." "A mistake?" I scoff, rage bubbling within me. "This was deliberate, Sarah. You chose to betray me, and now you'll pay the price." Just then, my phone buzzes again, a notification from the company's group chat. I open it, my heart racing. The messages fly by, and I can see my boss addressing the entire company, informing them of the investigation into Sarah and Jason's affair. As the notifications keep coming, I watch the color drain from Sarah's face. The walls are closing in around her, and I can feel the satisfaction surging through me. "This is just the beginning," I say, my voice low and steady. "I'll make sure everyone knows the truth." "Ethan, please. I can fix this," she cries, desperation in her voice. "No, you can't," I reply coldly. "You've already ruined everything. You've betrayed me in the worst way, and I won't let you get away with it." With that, I turn away from her, the weight of our shattered relationship heavy on my heart. I walk out of the room, knowing I've finally taken control of my life. In the following days, the fallout from my actions reverberates through the office. Sarah and Jason are called in for disciplinary meetings, their reputations tarnished as the truth comes to light. I hear snippets of conversations, people whispering about the scandal that rocked the company. I find a sense of peace in the chaos, knowing that I've finally reclaimed my power. But deep down, I realize this victory comes with a cost. The love I once had for Sarah is gone, replaced by the bitter taste of betrayal. As I move forward, I focus on rebuilding my life. I take the time to rediscover myself, to heal from the wounds that betrayal left behind. And while I know I'll never forget what happened, I also understand that I'm stronger now, more resilient than ever. In the end, I walk away from the wreckage of our relationship, knowing that some betrayals can never be forgiven. I've learned that trust, once shattered, is impossible to rebuild. And as I step into a new chapter of my life, I vow to never let anyone take advantage of my trust again. The echoes of betrayal may linger, but I refuse to let them define me. I will rise from the ashes, ready to embrace whatever comes next. Because in the end, I am the architect of my own destiny, and I will not be broken.